June is the last month before the U.S. Supreme Court breaks for summer recess, and that means we could see the court decide on some major cases in the coming weeks. Some of those cases include voting rights, gay rights, and an effort to strike down Obamacare. Here to talk more about this is CBS News legal contributor and professor at Loyola Law School, Jessica Levinson. Hi, Jessica. Great to see you again. So one big case we learned the court will not hear is Johnson & Johnson's appeal of a $2 billion talcum powder verdict. What was the reasoning behind rejecting that case, and what do you make of it?
What I make of it is it's not good news for Johnson & Johnson going forward, and it's good news for the plaintiffs. They're facing, I believe it's still thousands of different suits throughout the country, which allege that the talc powder causes cancer. Now, in these particular cases that we're dealing with, the $2 billion verdicts, I believe it was two women who said that the talc powder caused ovarian cancer. And there was a compensatory, meaning we're compensating you for your damages, or that was far less. And then you get to the $2 billion because of the punitive damages, because these juries throughout the country are largely saying, Johnson & Johnson, you did something that we want to punish. And the judge in this case actually brought that punitive damages award down. I think it was almost twice the amount. You asked me what was the Supreme Court's reasoning. In orders such as these, they don't give a rationale. They just say we're not hearing the case, we're rejecting the appeal. And therefore, what happens is that the lower court decision stands. So the court doesn't say, we were going to hear this case, but the court gives reasonings when it comes to its opinion, but typically not when it comes to orders that just deny writ of certiorari.
And so if you were to read into it, basically this means that the Supreme Court either feels it's not worthy of their time or that the lower court has it covered.
Exactly. And or there just aren't 4 votes to take this case because they want to let these cases play out in the lower courts. They want more jury decisions before they weigh in. The court typically takes cases that come from 2 different buckets. One, if they think there's a substantial constitutional question. Johnson & Johnson did bring up a constitutional question here. They said their due process rights were violated with respect to, one, the way the trial was conducted and the amount of the punitive damages. But the Supreme Court might have not have thought that was a substantial enough constitutional question. The other bucket tends to be there's a circuit split. So maybe they're waiting for a situation where, again, there are more decisions and the decisions are going different ways, and the Supreme Court has to kind of come in and say, okay, this is the law of the land.
Right. All right. So, Jessica, as we did mention, though, the court is expected to rule on several cases this month. Big ones, including gay rights, voting rights, school speech, and health care. Whew, that's a lot. What kind of outcomes are you expecting in these cases?
So I think the first thing to remember is that this is a really conservative Supreme Court. It's not a 5-4 conservative court, which is what we saw, feels like so long ago, but just last year at this time, where Chief Justice John Roberts was in the middle of the court. Right now, it's a 6-3 conservative court, and it's probably Justice Kavanaugh who's in the center now. And what that means is that the conservatives, in order to make decisions that are not always politically conservative, but we're looking at legally conservative, that they don't need to keep all of their ranks together. They can basically afford to lose a person. So with respect to the Affordable Care Act, specifically, what do I expect? I think that we will strike down the individual mandate, saying that it doesn't look like a tax, so Congress no longer has the power to say that they enacted that as part of their taxation authority, but that the rest of the Affordable Care Act will still stand. I think with respect to the case dealing with whether or not a religious agency can say, we're not going to help place foster children with same-sex couples. Again, I think this is a conservative court, and the court will say, yes, you have a religious freedom, you have a religious right that you do not have to place foster kids with same-sex couples. Same thing with respect to the Arizona case. There's an Arizona case where they have fairly restrictive voting laws. If you, on election day, vote out of precinct provisionally, your entire ballot is trashed. They also have fairly conservative laws with respect to who can return one of your ballots early. I think we'll see a conservative decision upholding those restrictive voting laws. And then there's a question about this swearing high school cheerleader who swore on social media off campus, and whether or not public school administrators can punish her for that. First Amendment cases with respect to speech sometimes are a bit of wild card cases, so we'll certainly be looking to that. But I think the big question in that case is not just what happens to her, but what happens generally with respect to we need a standard for off-campus speech and when it can be punished.
Yeah. And certainly in relation to social media. So there will be a lot of school administrators watching that case very closely. Well, Jessica Levinson, thank you so much. I'm sure we will be checking in with you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.